YouTube, welcome back to the channel. This is the Real Nathan Daily, and I'm here with another update. And this one is in reference to New York City. You guys are all aware of the mass shooting that occurred. You know, prayers go out to all the victims, the families of the victims who've lost their life, the officer who lost his life. You know, we don't have a bunch of names as of yet, you guys, so please just keep them in your prayers. But we got to talk about the issues that are taking place in this country. I've been speaking about it on this channel for so long. I've even lost my TikTok channel behind exposing and uncovering some things in reference to this country. A lot of people aren't connecting the dots. There's so much going on that people are missing, right? And it's the same narrative that constantly gets recycled and people fall for it. For those who are paying attention, you have ears to hear and you have eyes to see. I'm going to point out some things, but first we're going to react to what Commissioner Tisch from New York is talking about. She's giving us an update. This is about 30 minutes ago. I believe there's about 5 to 6 people who were unalive during this encounter, and the suspect took his own life. All right, so we are getting some details about who he is, where he's from, and let's get an update for those who don't know where we are as of yet. So let's see what she has to say. All right.
The information that I'm about to provide is preliminary and subject to change. At 6:28 p.m., the 911 call center started receiving multiple 911 calls for an active shooter inside of 345 Park Avenue at 52nd Street in Manhattan. What happened next is under an active investigation and details are still coming in, but here's what we know so far. Surveillance video shows a male exit a double-parked black BMW on Park Avenue between 51st and 52nd Streets, carrying an M4 rifle in his right hand. He walks towards the building's entrance. That individual was seen exiting the BMW alone. The building's security camera footage shows the shooter enter the lobby, turn right, and immediately open fire on an NYPD officer. He then shoots a woman who took cover behind a pillar and proceeds through the lobby, spraying it with gunfire. He makes his way to the elevator bank, where he shoots a security guard who was taking cover behind the security desk. One additional male is shot in the lobby, per his own statement from the hospital. The shooter then calls the elevator, which opens in the lobby. A female exits that elevator and he allows her to walk past him unharmed. He goes up to the 33rd floor, which is route and management, and begins to walk the floor, firing rounds as he traveled. One person was struck and killed on that floor. He then proceeds down a hallway and shoots himself in the chest. In total, we have 5 victims shot, our officer and 4 other innocent civilians, plus the shooter. The shooter is believed to be Shane Tamura, a 27-year-old male with a Las Vegas address. The vehicle he exited is registered in Nevada to Mr. Tamura. Inside of that vehicle, officers found a rifle case with rounds, a loaded revolver, ammunition, and magazines, a backpack, and medication prescribed to Mr. Tamura. The vehicle was searched by our bomb squad and found to be clear of any explosives. The initial investigation shows that Mr. Tamura's vehicle traveled cross-country through Colorado on July 26th, then Nebraska and Iowa on July 27th, and then in Columbia, New Jersey, as recently as 4:24 p.m. today. The vehicle entered New York City shortly thereafter. According to our law enforcement partners in Las Vegas, Mr. Tamura has a documented mental health history. His motives are still under investigation, and we are working to understand why he targeted this particular location. 345 Park Avenue is a commercial office building whose tenants include the NFL, Root and Management, KPMG, and Blackstone. At this time, 4 of the 5 victims are deceased, including our NYPD cop. Our officer was transported here to New York Presbyterian along with 1 male civilian, the lone shooting survivor, who is in critical but stable condition at this time. 2 other civilians, 1 male and 1 female, both deceased, were brought to Bellevue. The 4th civilian is a female who was found dead on the 33rd floor of the location. Additionally, there are 4 other victims being treated for minor injuries sustained in their attempts to flee the scene. Victims' names are being withheld at this time, pending family notification. Officers from our Special Operations Division are currently conducting a secondary sweep of the entire building. I want to be very clear. We believe this to be a lone shooter, and there is no longer an active threat to the public. But today, 4 innocent victims are dead. Among them is NYPD police officer Didarul Islam, 36 years old, 4 years on the job. Officer Islam was married with 2 young boys, and his wife is pregnant with their 3rd child. He's assigned to the 4-7 precinct in the Bronx. He was doing the job that we asked him to do. He put himself in harm's way. He made the ultimate sacrifice, shot in cold blood, wearing a uniform that stood for the promise that he made to this city. He died as he lived, a hero. I want to extend my profound sympathies to all of the victims and their families, and to the brave NYPD cops who today lost a brother. There are still many questions that we have to answer, and we will answer them. But for now, our city is in mourning for the innocent lives lost.
What's the reality? Could this be a terror attack? Right? I think that's what's in the back of everybody's mind. You know, we're well aware of the things that are going on in this country, things that are going on overseas. What is my theory? And this is a theory. All right, let me just say that, okay? I don't know for sure. Let me, you got to say that here. The truth is that, you guys, believe it or not, we have people in this country that are what we consider to be as sleeper cells. What is that? Those are people who are, for whatever reason, whether they are hired or they work for, or they've been indoctrinated under some type of rogue ideology that's anti-American, death to America type of rhetoric, and they are lying in wait. They are undercover terrorists, okay? That's a sleeper cell, essentially in a nutshell, okay? And their job is when they get activated, they get turned on, they get activated, they get a phone call, or they plot, plan something, they organize, and they say that we're going to cause terror. And what ends up happening is we've been seeing these things that don't make sense in this country, in these cities, whether it's these bombings, car bombings, or random bombings, or attempted bombings and things of that nature in high populated areas. We've seen it in New Orleans. All of a sudden, everybody has a mental problem, right? We have the mass shootings in schools. They just happen to be mentally ill, right? This is the catchphrase, is the go-to. You guys, we can't be buying that story anymore, right? It's quite obvious when you look at the mannerisms from the photo of the suspect, okay? He looks very focused. He looks very intentional. He looks very well put together, and he is on a mission. Very objectively, he knew exactly what he was doing. And he parades himself through that building, and he's executing people. The question is, there was a woman who gets off the elevator that he did not engage. Why? Right? I want to ask this. Obviously, there's going to be hundreds of questions. What does she look like? What's her ethnicity? Did all these things play a part? What was it about this woman that he decided not to execute? There's so many questions. Of course, why this building? What's the connection? What's the affiliation? But you guys, he's from Nevada, and he tracks all the way to the East Coast to carry out this attack. But guess what else happened in Nevada? For those who are not familiar, it's not getting a lot of attention, is that there was also a mass shooting in Nevada as well earlier this morning. Remember, we had the incident in New Orleans where the suspect plowed through a crowd of people in his vehicle. And in the initial report, they believe that there were multiple assailants working with the suspect, planting explosives in the city that did not go off. And then you heard the story change. Then the FBI were doing some funny business. You guys, have we forgotten that quickly? Remember, the same day that incident happened, there was a bombing in where? Nevada, at the Trump building. Okay? And that was a former military officer. All I'm saying is, right, he too, they claim, suffered from mental health issues. Now we have another individual from Nevada who makes it to New York and carries out a mass shooting. Coincidence? I mean, I don't know. You tell me. Now, I'm not saying there's a connection. What I'm saying is my eyes are open and I'm paying attention. I find it very odd that we've had two mass shootings, one in Nevada and then one in New York. And it just seems like the suspect in New York is from Nevada, and then there's a mass shooting in Nevada. And then we can cross-reference that to the one in, when we had the one in New Orleans, and then we had the military guy who conducted the bombing in Nevada. I don't know. I just feel like it's just weird. A lot of things are coming out of Nevada. I don't hear anybody making the connections. Now, I'm not saying, I think it's a coincidence. Okay? It's a coincidence. I'm well aware that we have sleeper cells in this country. I'm well aware that we are not above being attacked from within. And every attack doesn't necessarily need to look like somebody from another country. The suspect, as they talked about, we could pull a photo up here so you could see him. He looks blazing. He looks blazing. So you tell me, is this just a random guy who had a mental health break and he decided to drive all the way from Nevada cross country to New York and enter in a building that consists of multi-billion-dollar companies? And, he just thought that maybe, during his mental break that this was a best way to exercise his thoughts? Or is there more to it? Anyways, you guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. With that, good night. God bless.